Hello all, welcome once again for the new tutorial on creating a visiting card in Adobe Illustrator from Wise Monkeys. So let's get started. So very first of all, open Illustrator, take a new file. Let's take a new file. If you are starting with a business card or a visiting card, it's all the same. The size of the visiting card or a business card is 3.5 by 2 inches. Let's make it as RGB and click OK. So once you're done, so as you can see, this is the size of a visiting card. If you press Ctrl 0, this is your fit to screen, and if you press Ctrl 1, this is your actual size. So let's take a reference of a visiting card, go into File, Place. So let's take a basic reference as you're going to start up for the first time. So make sure you're taking a reference to get move the idea. So let's take the idea from a visiting card. Okay, so just drag it. So this is your reference for your visiting card. So once you start up with it, so very first of all, lock this image. Go into view, rulers, show rulers. So as I'm going to divide this page into two parts over here. So if you are making any kind of a designer visiting card, to make sure your matter should be properly highlighted. So it's like if you are taking a white background and if you're taking a black text, your font should be properly visible. Use a better fonts which should be properly readable. Use the proper colors which makes it more look emphasize. So take a rectangle. Very first of all, take a rectangle. I'll take a rectangle. I'll take a eyedropper tool and I'll fill the color. Select it, press Ctrl 2 and lock this image. After this step, we'll divide this again into the center. So let's divide it into the center part. So let's divide it. So for example, if you have a 90 mm, so we can divide it into 45 mm from here. So you can see we have use the center over here. We can use the rulers for marking from all top four corners. If you want, you can do it. So let's start with the logo part. Let's start with the logo part over here and let's make it a bit more darker. Click over here, transform tool, and you can scale it. Go into edit, copy, paste in front, and you can again resize it. Take a eyedropper tool and fill a color. That's it. So select both these elements and Ctrl G and you can group it and place it over here and you can resize it. So make sure your size should be perfect. It should not look more smaller also and it should not look more bigger also. So let's take a pen tool. So you can just close this. So you can just resize it. Take it. If you want to fill a gradient, we can come to the gradient part also. So you can just push this over here. So you can resize it. Yeah. Resize a bit. Okay. So now right click, transform, reflect, and you can make a copy of it. So make a copy of it. You can just push it, right click, transform, reflect, and if you want to make a copy onto the horizontal part, so you can just make a copy onto the horizontal and you can push this a bit down. So as you can see, we have just defined it in this particular way. The next part, let's take again a ruler. We'll define it over here like this. So let's take, if you want to take a line, you can take a line. So let's take a line over here. Let's press Ctrl, take a line, and you can take a line right from here, or you can take a pen tool and make it a line and break the line. So you can just click on the line and you can increase the stroke of the line. So you can decrease the stroke of the line, and you can just fill the color into it. Okay, alright. So just go into the stroke and make it a round cap. So if you want to make it a round cap, you can use the round cap option over here. So you can select this, and if you want to push it a bit more, you can just push it in this way. So now as you can see over here, we can write the company name. This is just a default name company. So you can default name of the company, you can write the name of the company. So for example, if you want to write the name of the company as example as your Smith Enterprises, so you can write the name as Smith Enterprises over here. You can make it more into the caps. So you can just define the name of the company. If you want, go into the character, and if you want to increase the space of the character, you can define the space. Also you can change the font of this. So let's change the font of this and just reduce the space of the characters and click OK. And you can define the color. So if you want to define a color to it, so you can easily define a color, and you can make it bold or whatever. So if you want to make it bold, you can easily make it bold, and you can just push it over here onto the center. So let's click onto this and make a copy of this line, and you can just shift it over here like this. So as you can see over here, we have just created the Smith Enterprises and the logo of it. So let's again take a pen tool, we'll define one more, we'll take a ruler, or you can just take the shape over here. You can use the curve option, press Alt and click. If you want to give a gradient, you can easily define a gradient over here. You can go into the window, gradient. You don't need a stroke, you can just off the stroke. You can go into window, gradient, you can double click on it. You can go into this RGB and you can define the color, whatever color you want to define it. You can easily define the color, whatever color you want to define it, you can define the color. So wherever you want to shift it, you can easily shift it. So you can push this a bit to the right and push this. If you want to push this like this, you can push it in this way. That's it. So now you can just click over here, and let's take the same font over here So as you can write, that is the name, that is your John Smith. So the name. So let's go into the character and make it as 0. So as you can see, the so it will make it 0. That's it. And you can give it a white color and increase the font size. So you can increase the font size of it. So you can put it over here, and you can define the position as like your graphic designer. So graphic designer. So you can reduce the font size. You can go into the character. Okay. So if you want, you can increase it. If you want, you can. Okay. So reduce the font size more. You can give a white color, and you can use a ruler again to align it properly. So you can easily align it to get it a proper look over here. So now let's take again a pen tool over here. So let's take a pen tool over here. Press Alt and drag. Click over here. That's it. So you can use a gradient part again over here. So let's take, if you are taking a gradient over here, so you can define a gradient. So whatever color gradient you're defining, you can easily define a color gradient over here. So you can just change it. So you can just define it. So from whatever color side you want to define it, you can easily define it. So you can increase it size if you want to increase the size, and push it down. That's it. Okay, alright. So if you have a symbol over here, if you have downloaded a symbol, you can just define the symbols over here. You can write the text meta over here, like if you have a number, so you can just write the number like it's written over here 9874 slash 666 slash 468. So you can easily define the numbers over here. So you can define the numbers over here. So you can place these numbers over here accordingly. So let's take the email ID over here as your john.smith@gmail.com. So let's go into the character. Can increase the character distance, define the white color, and you can push it over here. That's it. So if you want to increase its size, you can increase its size. You can increase the size of it. So let's push this element to the left. That's it. Okay. And the website the website address, you can write the web address. So you can define the web address www.smithenterprises.com. So as you can see, we have also defined the address of the company, email address, I'm sorry. You can reduce the size of it and you can define it. So as you can see, we have just designed a basic visiting card over here. So after you are done, you can just check the alignment properly by using the rulers. So let's go into the view, rulers, or you can hide guides. So you can hide the guides over here. So as you can see, you can zoom it. Alright, okay. So unlock all and delete this part over here. You can just shift this elements over here. That's it. Okay. So Control Alt 2, unlock it. So go into File, Export, and you can export this as a visiting card, make it into JPG, use artboards and export it. So if you're going to print it, make it as CMYK. If you're not going to print it, you can keep it as RGB and click OK. So once you're done, you can just check the result, what you've done over here. So that's it. So thanks for watching this tutorial.